Hi everyone, Deborah Roth here at Spirited Living with another Inner Goddess Team video for you today on this really important day, which I don't know, maybe it was in your radar, but not in mine. This is World Ocean Day, June 8th. Happens to be also the birthday of two special people of mine, my daughter-in-law and my goddaughter. But other than that, so World Ocean Day. Hi, Barbara is an awareness. It's a wake-up call for us to take better care of our oceans, basically, to revive them. And some of the numbers that I found when I found out that June 8th was World Ocean Day is that oceans absorb nearly 30% of carbon dioxide produced by humans, and they produce 50% of the planet's oxygen and our homes to Earth's all of their biodiversity. It's the main source of protein for over 1 billion people in the world, and by 2030, about 40 million people will earn a living by being employed in some ocean-based operation. However, over the last many years, oceans have lost 90%. 90% depletion of big fish populations and 50% of destructions to coral reefs. I think some of those we're aware of, but those numbers are huge, more huge than I ever thought. So this day is observed to remind us to stop the destruction that's caused by all the things like garbage and sewage disposal and oil leaks and all that. So, honoring that, the first question for you is, what can you do to honor the oceans today? And one of the ways that we're going to be doing that is learning how to invoke one of the major Chinese goddesses. She is the sea goddess, the big sea goddess, and still very much worshipped by like 100 million people, I think the numbers were that I found. 100 million and more than 1,500 temples are devoted to her worship. And her name is Mazu, M-A-Z-U. She is one of the few goddesses that they think was actually brought to, she was actually a real person at one point. She was a shamaness from like the 10th century A.D. Her name, her real life name, was Lin Mo Nian, and she was thought to have grown up there, the daughter of fishermen, and that's what she's about. She is who you would call on if you are setting off to the seas. She is invoked by fishermen in China and Taiwan and many of those Pacific Rim countries for safe travels in the seas. And in one of her manifestations, she appears all in red to warn captains and to warn sea goers that there's a storm coming so that they can prepare or not travel at all, since they could be wiped out. So she's, let's see. So part of her mythology, when she was born, she didn't cry or shed a single tear. And she was taken on by a local monk to teach her. It was clear that she had special abilities, and she actually went into trances, and she communicated just compassion. She very much embodies a lot of the energy of Kuan Yin, who I've talked about here, who's the goddess of mercy and compassion. And even though she was mute, Lin Mo had lots of other gifts. She could predict the weather. That's how she could, in her goddess form later on, how she could warn fishermen. And she, let's see. Oh, interesting. She became a healer because she developed a fascination with medicine. And it's said that when you call on her, either for help if you're going sailing or if you're going to be on the seas, or if you are looking for some compassion and looking for guidance and a balance of mind, body, and spirit. She's very much about that too. And she's one of her other messages, one of the other ways to invoke her to support you is for reconciliation with family, with nature, and balancing the masculine and feminine. So one of her mythologies is that she was home and her brother and father were out fishing, and she was struck. She had a vision in trance that they were in trouble. And in fact, their boat had capsized in a big storm. She was able, through the trance somehow, to save her brother, but then her mother woke her up. And so she wasn't able to save her father. And then the story goes, she climbed a nearby mountain and flung herself off and was transformed into a bodhisattva or bodhivista. I think they can't remember what the phrase is. I'm not a Buddhist, so pardon me. And she ascended to heaven, when she became this goddess, Mazu. So she's what I mean, there are many things that I love about the mythology around this, and that she's very much, she refused to get married. Another one of the myths was that two men were fighting over her and wanted to marry her, and she told them that she would only marry whichever one of them could defeat her, and neither one of them could, so they became her protectors. So she's this strong, independent, very spiritually based woman, really the kind of thing that, a lot of us, if you're here looking at Inner Goddess Team video, then you that appeals to you too. So let's see if there's anything else I want to tell you about her. So she seemed like a perfect one to invoke on this World Oceans Day. Now the trick, though, the other thing that I saw in all my readings is that you have to invoke her with one of her more casual names, not Queen of the Heavens, or she's got some high level names, because if you address her in one of her high level names instead of one of her formal names, then she will waste precious time getting herself all dolled up with all of her regalia when she could be helping you. And I actually, this picture that I found of her actually shows just how beautiful. And I love that. And that's an artist representation of her. But then here's one of the many statues that have been raised in her honor. So that's Mazu, the Chinese ocean goddess. So what I would love to do, and I know I've sung this here before, is to share with you one of my favorite watery chants, my favorite ocean chant, and it goes like this. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. You can harmonize. This is a great one to harmonize too. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. Still got a croaky voice from allergy stuff out there. So please think about the questions to ask. How can you support the health of our oceans? Where in your own life do you need to call on protection if you're planning any trips across the ocean? Probably, it's boats and fishermen, but if you're traveling to Europe in a plane, that would probably count too. Maybe not. But think about ways that you want to invoke this powerful goddess, still very revered and very much celebrated in China and Taiwan, many of the countries in that part of the world. Think about how you want to bring balance to your own life, using and invoking the energy, the powerful protective energy of Mazu. Thanks for being with me, and look forward to hearing your experiences with Mazu. Namaste.